You want me to pay with you want me to quote unquote pay with Federal Reserve notes?
That would be sufficient. You can also pay by credit card if you use those. You can also pay by
Article 1, Section
certified check or
10,
money.
only gold and silver is money.
But you can pay by gold and silver too. I had a guy once on a dog complaint that they paid by silver. Let's break that down, Mr. Marlbay. The two charges of driving suspended second offense are misdemeanors. They're punishable by up to a year in jail and a fine of up to $1,000. They carry 2 points and require that your license be suspended. The other driving suspended would be a first offense. No, they're all second offense. She's also going to dismiss the false license charge. The charge that's left on each of those is called allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code. It's found under Michigan compiled laws 257.326. It is a misdemeanor, but it carries no points and it doesn't get abstracted to your driver's license. Won't affect your ability to keep or maintain your driving privileges. The two speeding charges are not criminal offenses, they're civil infractions. You don't plead guilty to a civil infraction, you simply admit. Now, it's my understanding in your discussions with Ms. Davis that you've agreed to plead no contest to these charges. You and I discussed that briefly at the last pretrial. By pleading no contest, you don't admit the charge, but you also don't deny it, and you allow or accept that a conviction would enter. And I would take the factual basis off the face of the ticket. The punishment for allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code, it carries a fine of up to $100 plus costs, and it carries no points, and it doesn't go on your driving record. This would resolve all the pending charges you have in St. Joseph County, and we would not be having a jury trial in March of 2022. Do you understand?
I definitely I comprehend.
All right, and you're appearing, I'm not sure how you wish to characterize it under protest, but you are here and you've mostly appeared undirected. Are you going to enter no contest pleas to those three charges?
Yeah, me and Deborah definitely talked Friday, and I decided that as much as I don't want to, but I feel like in lieu of a fair trial, this is probably my best bet. So in lieu of a fair trial,
like an intelligent man. You and I have had a number of conversations, and you're a man that knows his own mind. Let me ask you this: did anybody threaten you to try to get you to plead to these charges?
I mean, of course, I have no choice but to be here. I mean, no one's forcing me to accept the plea. Well, I'll say
other than the plea agreement, did anyone promise you anything other than Miss Davis's promise that she will dismiss all these other charges?
I mean, no one promised me anything, but I mean, obviously, if I don't show up for court, if I'm not here, obviously a warrant is sent out for my arrest, and
Yes.
And then I'll be locked up. So I'm definitely here under threat, duress, or coercion. But I decided to accept the plea deal and do a fair trial.
I would like to think you could get a fair trial, but we haven't gotten to that point. There won't be a trial if you enter these pleas. Do you understand that?
Oh yes, definitely.
If you had a trial, you'd have the right to be represented by an attorney. You'd hire one, or I would appoint one. You would also have the right to represent yourself, and you've expressed that desire every time. If you had a trial, you'd have the right to take the witness stand and testify on your own behalf, but you don't have to, because you have a right not to testify. And if you did not wish to testify, the judge or jury could not hold your silence against you. You would also have the right to have any of the witnesses against you or for you called to testify, if I didn't already say that. And you'd have the right to be presumed innocent till the state was able to prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, if they could. All right, well, let's talk about these one by one. The first incident occurred in September of 2020. Do you plead no contest to allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code in that case?
Are you asking me?
Yes, are you pleading no contest to that charge?
Oh, I didn't know. I'm sorry. I guess I didn't realize I had to actually answer that. Under TDC, yes.
All right. So, and the ticket indicates, well, I'll go to the ticket here in a minute. Also, that you were speeding at least 73 miles an hour. I think it was like 84. And you admit, or at least no contest for the speeding charge.
Under threat, I do.
All right. And the next case, which was November 25th of 2020, had a driving suspended and false or forged license. They're going to dismiss that charge. And you're going to plead to allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code, also by no contest. You plead no contest in that case as well, under the same terms and conditions. Is that correct?
Oh yes, under threat, yes.
All right. And the speeding charge as well, same thing, you acknowledge 73 and a 55. Is that correct?
Only under threat, duress, or coercion, yes.
Then the last one is the January 31st of 21. Prosecutor is going to dismiss false or forged ops. And they're going to dismiss driving suspended first offense. And you'll plead no contest to allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code. Once again, under the same terms and conditions as the other two cases.
Oh yes.
All right. All right, well, the good news is, other than these speeding tickets, none of these are going to show up as a driving suspended on your record. The bad news is there's separate incidents and each one will carry a fine. So let's do the first one first. September 17th. I'm going to do the normal fine and cost. You did spend 1 day in jail for failing to appear. I'm going to give you 1 day in jail credit, 1 day. I'm not ordering any additional jail time. You understand?
I definitely comprehend.
$25 fine, $75 crime victims' rights fee, and a $50 state minimum fee. That's the normal fine for this, $200. The speeding charge, it's the same charge. One is 140 and the other is 205. I'm going to make them both 140. The speeding ticket by operation of our policy is due within 30 days. That will be due by January 31st. And the no proof of insurance was also going to be dismissed. Which leaves 3 no contest pleas to allowing another to violate the motor vehicle code. It won't go on your driving record. There's 3 fines of $200. There are 2 speeding tickets of 73 and a 45, which will go on your driving record. The total you owe is, I think, $880. 2 140s.
Oh, that's pretty expensive.
Yeah, it'd be even worse in Kalamazoo County. It's way cheaper than it would have been on the other stuff. So the 280 is due by January 31st. How long would it take you to pay the balance of $600? I can make these due once a month, like one due in February, one due in March, one due in April.
You want me to pay with do you want me to quote unquote pay with Federal Reserve notes?
That would be sufficient. You can also pay by credit card if you use those. You can also pay by certified check or money order.
But according to the Constitution, Article 1, Section 10, only gold and silver is money.
But you can pay by gold and silver too. I had a guy once on a dog complaint that they paid by silver or gold. I'm sure when you go to the grocery store or the gas station, you don't pay by gold or silver. Now, we have your
Right,
address.
but,
I think it's still the Southwestnedge address. Is that correct?
yeah, that you can use that as a mailing address.
All right. Now, this resolves all three of your cases. You and I have a fundamental disagreement on what the law is. You have a vision of what you think it should be, and I have another one. This is a way that resolve this matter without having to have three separate jury trials, which you would have been entitled to have. I'm gonna make these $200 ones due by March 15th.
Your Honor, just for the record, if anybody were to hold this in the future, I just wanted to make note that, number one, we spoke on Thursday. The defendant had called me to make sure that he met the deadline that I had set. So I do appreciate his diligence with that. And we did have two fairly long conversations over the past couple of weeks discussing the options in the plea agreement. And he was very respectful, even though we definitely had disagreements about our interpretations of the law and constitutions. But I do appreciate that he was respectful when he was discussing these items with me. I would encourage him, though, to discontinue driving, especially in our jurisdiction, unless he is fully licensed to do so. Review of the police videos, there was not the level of respect for the officers that he gave me. And I would encourage him to, in the event he is pulled over again, keeping in mind that these officers are just doing their job, just like we are doing our jobs. And I would, it was bordering on the line of resisting and obstructing. And the officers did their best to calm the situation down, even though these officers standing in the rain, knocking on the windows. So I just encourage the defendant to consider the other people involved when he's having these issues with the police. So with that, I am pleased that this is resolved and that we can all go on our ways.
He's been very respectful to me of our last couple of hearings as well. We've managed to get along. I try to treat him with respect. He's been respectful to me. He is a thoughtful man. He had some thoughtful discussions with you, and he said it was in his best interest, although he didn't like it, to resolve these matters in this manner. And I've accepted his no contest pleas, and I've assessed fines. So 280 is due by January 31st. The others are due by March 15th. If you need more time, you can contact the court. I was going to give you the same advice. If you keep driving, please don't do it here. They can arm wrestle with you in Kalamazoo County all they want, but you're free to go on about your business, Mr. Morrow Bay. Do you have any questions?
I do. Just I think just one. Now I know I was arrested a few times. I know one of the times I had to pay if I'm not mistaken, my girlfriend had to pay $500 for to bond me out. I believe that was the first time.
Well, let me see. Perhaps there is a cash bond in one of these. I looked earlier, but 22073 may have a cash bond in it. Let me look at that. There's a $500 cash bond in that case, so I'll apply $200 of bond in 2073, zero. $200 of bond in 2653, zero. And $100 of bond in 213 ST, and 100 in that. Mr. Morrow Bay, that resolves all of your cases here in St. Joe County. It would make me happy, it'd probably make you happy if you didn't come back here.